Well, hello, motherfuckers. It's me, the Crazy Cuban G, the one and only big homie, Crazy Cubano here, coming back at you guys with another video, and this is going to be another episode of, wait, what'd you say? Episode 27, I believe. I'm going to be answering some questions from a video series that a good buddy of mine, neoturbomaniac 78, makes on his channel. If you want to know what that's all about, be sure to check the link on the bottom below. I'm going to leave the link to his channel. Basically, not only does he do awesome Neo Geo game reviews, he also does a little video series, basically him asking 3 questions, all gamer related, and you can either do a response, a comment, or video. For this one, I'm going to be doing a video response for the questions. He has 7 videos in the series so far, so out of the 7 videos, I chose my favorite question, and I'm going to be answering them for you guys. I originally wanted to do all 21 questions, you know, 7 videos, 3 questions each, 7 times 3, not 21, 21! And I was going to do all 21, but I just thought it was going to be taking too long of a video, take too long for me to make, and I wouldn't really be able to go in detail with the answers. But I'm going to make an exception for the first video he did. I'm going to be answering all 3 of those questions, but from the other videos, just 1, because there's some questions I really wouldn't know how to answer. So, let's go ahead and get started. I know I say so a lot. I do apologize if I say that a lot in this video. So, let's go ahead and get started. From the first video, I'm going to be answering all 3 questions. The first question is, if you were stuck with one system, what would it be and why? For me, that's a simple answer. The PS2. Want to know why? Because it has a lot of different genre of games. Well, over like 2,000 games, there has to be some you like. So for me, there's obviously a lot of fighting games, racing games, beat 'em ups, shooters, compilation games, which is really good because if you wanted to play a game that wasn't available for the, you know, any other system than a particular one, they have a lot of compilation games that you can play and kind of get the value for your buck. For example, there's a lot of compilation games from the SNK Corporation, like Fatal Fury Battle Archives 1, 2, Art of Fighting Anthology, Samurai Shodown Anthology, World Heroes Anthology. There's a lot more for the Japanese version, King of Fighters Orochi Saga, and even the ones that were not made by SNK. There's other ones like Sega Genesis Collection, Napkin Museum, so on and so forth. So many great games for the PS2, you can't go wrong with that. The second question from the first video was, what was the first console that made you say, I have to have this? Pretty simple answer, the Neo Geo AES. Reason being is that, if you guys know, I used to play the Neo Geo at my uncle's astronomy that he used to work at back in the day, and I used to go there a lot. I would play King of Fighters 94. That was a game that kind of got me introduced to the Neo Geo, and you know, fast forward 10 years later, around 2008, when I found out that same game that I was playing in the arcades 10 years prior was available for a home system, you know, the Neo Geo AES, I figured, man, that is so much nostalgia for me, and I knew I had to get it. That was probably one of the first systems that I honestly remember off the top of my head that made me say, you know what, I need to get this system. This is what I played back in the day in the arcade version. And that was the first system that made me say, hey. So the third question from the first video, what is your favorite guilty pleasure in gaming? I think I have 2. One of them is this game right here. Let's see if I can find it. Can I find it? Nope. Can't find it. But it's Shaq Fu for the Super Nintendo. Even though it's a bad game, I think it's a lot of fun. Pretty good fighting game. Actually, all my guilty pleasures are fighting games. So that's the first one. I actually thought of another one, War Gods. If you guys remember War Gods for the Nintendo 64, the same people that made Mortal Kombat, Midway. Bad game, not that great. The soundtrack's okay, but a lot of people didn't like it. I love it. I used to play it back in the day at a friend's house. I used to love the game. I still do. That's another guilty pleasure. And Street Fighter, the movie, the game. That is basically my #1 guilty pleasure. A lot of people don't like it. You know, they say Street Fighter with digitized characters don't mix well. They kind of don't, but I like the fact that the control scheme is very traditional to the original Street Fighter games. You know, it's easy to pull off the combos. The music's pretty good, even though the digitized characters, not too big of a fan of, but you know what? For what it is, I like the game. So that's from the first video. From now on, one question each video. So from the second video, I would have to say, or the question is there a game that you completed that stood above all the other games you've completed? That has to be Onimusha 3. Basically, the reason is, I remember, for the most part, the other two Onimusha games, the ones before that one, for the most part, I would play the game, beat it in one setting. Onimusha 3, however, took me a very long time. You know, it was kind of like a new feeling to the Onimusha series. You know, so many new things to adapt, and I would just kind of go on and off with the game. You know, I'll play some of the game one day, I would leave it alone for a couple days, play it again another time. It just took me a long time because I would just kind of go in and out of it. And when I finally beat it, I was kind of like, well shit, fuck, I finally beat the game. It just took me a long time just because I would put it down and then come back to it later for the most part. And a lot of the games I have completed, I was able to beat it in a day. That was the only one that I recall took me a very long time to beat, but I'm finally glad that I did beat it. So from the third video, what is your favorite third-party developer or publisher? There's actually a lot, you know. You got the normal ones like, you know, Konami with the Mystical Ninja games, the Gradius, the Darius, the good stuff like that. You got Capcom, obviously, with Street Fighter, is Onimusha, another great series from Capcom. Another couple favorite of mine, ACOM / Ubikobo, which was a third-party publisher, I think, no, developer for the Neo Geo system. They made games like Polestar, Blazing Star, Pure Historic Isle 2, if you guys have never seen those games. Beautiful looking games. Some other ones I can think of, Neversoft, because of the Tony Hawk series. I used to love playing those games as a kid, I still do, so that's one of my favorite third-party. Aki / THQ for the company. I think it's more so Aki that made the good wrestling games on the Nintendo 64, like WCW World Tour, WCW Revenge, WrestleMania 2000, No Mercy, you know, things like that. And they also made the Virtual Pro Wrestling games, which were the Japanese version, which are very great, by the way. Some other ones, Data East. I like Data East. They have some great games, like Side Pocket for Genesis. I think they made Windjammers, which is a really popular Neo game. Fighter's History Dynamite, which is a really good clone of Street Fighter. And what else can I think? Rising, which made a couple shmups, particularly Battle Gorega, which is my favorite shmup off the Neo Geo. Great shmup. From the fourth video, let's see. Was there a system that you purchased despite having thoughts about it, but you still bought it? That would definitely have to be the Sega 32X. I knew right into it there wasn't that many great games, but I was like, you know what? It looks cool. I have the Sega CD, so why not? I remember trading in some games at the local Game World store before they closed down. I got about like 15 bucks in store credit for some decent stuff too. One of them was like a Zelda game too, and I got it for like $15 because originally it was 30. I played it, I had it for a couple years, I enjoyed it for what it was, but at the end I was just like, you know what, I kind of found myself not really playing it that often because there's not that many games that I really like, or there are good games for it, or there are games that look good on the 32X better than it looks on the Genesis, but you can always get better versions of those like NBA Jam, or you know, Mortal Kombat, or you know, Doom, Virtual Racing, Virtual Fighter. So at the end of the day, I just kind of, you know what, sold off my 32X collection for pretty cheap. I had about like 20 complete box games. Sold it for about 150, so it had a lot of great games, but you know what, it just wasn't the system for me, so let it go. I just had to let it go. So yeah, that was a system that I kind of had doubts, but I ended up selling at the end. From the fifth video. Oh, here's a good one. What are 3 things about gaming that you liked growing up that you don't see much of today? One of them are manuals. What the fuck? Why can't you make manuals? I mean, does it really cost that much money to make a manual? Seriously. I don't know, but I guess they want to save money. Oh, you want the manual? go online. Well, what if I don't have internet access? Well, why'd you buy our system? Well, goddamn. The second thing that I missed was the social aspect. What I mean by social aspect is that back in the day where there was no online gaming, in order to play multiplayer with a friend, you had to have someone come to the house or you go to someone's house to play the game. Now, back in the mid-90s when I was growing up, during the 64 days, that was a big part of my life, you know, playing 64. A lot of the friends in the neighborhood where I grew up in the east side of Vegas, they all had Nintendo 64, so I really miss those days where I can go to a friend's house, we would play some games, or when they come to my house, we'll play some games, you know, stuff like that. That was a really good time, and it really got you to meet new people and kind of socialize with the other kids in the neighborhood. And that's a lot of things that we had in common back in the day, because we all had a 64. And that's just another thing that I missed, just due to nostalgia. But the biggest thing that I miss is that you are no longer really able to unlock stuff or to really beat the game to unlock, because now you can just buy it. I don't like that. I don't like it. I don't like the fact that instead of actually getting your money's worth in a game, playing it for hours on end to unlock content, oh, you know what? We're just gonna put the content on the online store and you can buy it. Like, what the fuck? I mean, I can understand if you have an option to either beat the game in this setting or beat the game with these characters to unlock this content, or if you don't want to do that, you can buy it. I can understand that. There's two ways to unlock stuff, but if the only way to unlock stuff is buying it, then it's kind of like, what's the point of me beating the game if I'm not going to unlock anything at the end? Which is the biggest thing that I miss the most out of gaming back then, because it seems like everything is too easy. They're trying to hold their hand for you. No! I want to unlock stuff. I want to be able to work to unlock the content. You know, characters, stages, soundtracks, costumes, all that good shit. I want to be able to work. Not twerk, but work for it. Not be able to buy it because anyone can buy stuff. That's just my 2 cents on that. From the 6th video. Alright, the other 2 questions I don't really understand, so this one I do. So, what are some of your favorite co-op video games? Blazing Star, which is a good one. Another one, let's see. Shock Troopers, that was a good one. Streets of Rage 2. Battle Garega. Let's see, what else can I think of? Off the top of my head, those are the only ones I can think of. Unless you can also include Mario Party, which is also great, you know, with the mini games you can play as with a person, or you play, you know, all for one or 3 versus 1, stuff like that. And also the WrestleMania games, or, you know, WCW versus NWO games, those are really good as well. So those are just the favorite off the top of my head. And from the 7th video, the question I will have to choose is, let's see, for 2D gaming, what is your preferred method of game controls? Gamepads, joystick, or keyboard and mouse? Keyboard and mouse is automatically off the list. I don't like that. Well, for the most part, if it's something like arcade style, like fighters, shooters, beat 'em ups, I love using a joystick. It feels more authentic to the arcade experience, and if it's based off an arcade game, that's just something I like to use. But for everything else, like platformers, puzzle games, adventure games, I like using a regular joypad. I mean, I just think it feels right. I wouldn't really think, or maybe like an RPG, I'd rather use a gamepad, because how are you going to use an RPG with an arcade joystick? Like, oh, attack, like, I don't know, it just doesn't make any sense to me. But, so basically, anything arcade-based, you know, shooters, beat-em-ups, fighters, joypad all the way, or joysticks. Everything else, gamepad's just fine. So that's all the stuff that I'm going to be answering for you guys. Hopefully it wasn't too long, but hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to check out neoturbomaniac 79's video series of the questions, like I said, link on the bottom below. Thank you so much again, man, for inspiring me to do this video. So, you know, just to get some content out there for you guys. And if any of you guys would like to answer some questions, be sure to do so on his channel, or if you'd like to make an open response of any of the questions and to go more into detail like than I did, feel free to do so. Seek, Found, Play, hey. Thank you again, once again, for watching this 27th episode of Hey, Wait, what'd you say? I don't even know what my video is called anymore. God damn it. But, like I said, hope you guys enjoy, and I'll catch you guys next video. Peace!